Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is John and Jenna from Flippin' Ain't Easy. And I don't know, you're pointing at something. Okay, sorry. She's just adjusting the screen. So sorry, guys. So, how was your weekend? Hopefully, you guys had a good sales weekend. Ours was kind of hit and miss. It was weird. We had a decent start on Friday and Saturday. Sunday was like, got one sale. And it's like, okay, it's almost like eBay knows when I'm doing something not eBay related. So I went and played some golf with a friend. We actually kind of traveled outside of town, and it was like the entire day. And I didn't really spend a lot of time on eBay, other than some of the stuff when I got back. But today was back to normal. So I don't know. So how was your weekend? Hopefully your sales are strong. Uh, we're actually entering summer now. I mean, it's technically not summer until like the 22nd, but once we hit Memorial Day, it's summer, guys. So want to let some people kind of roll in, but if you're here watching us with the live, please be sure to comment in the chat, ask your questions in the chat. Maybe there's something that you wanted to know, maybe there's something you're dealing with. Somebody here, I'm sure, has an answer for you. If you're watching after the fact, of course, comment down below. Maybe you see something or hear something that's mentioned in this live stream, and you want to speak to it or comment about it. Comment down below, guys. And so no matter how you're doing it today, whether you're watching us after the fact or watching us live, hit that like button, guys. I don't know how it works, but if you hit the like button within 24 hours, you're going to get a sale. It works. So maybe it's a karma thing. Who knows? But hit that like button, guys. I certainly appreciate it. It would let people know that we have a pretty cool thing here with the community that we built for reselling. So the topic of the day that I wanted to talk about was one that a couple people had sort of reached out to me. I think Jovial Juggler and actually somebody else had mentioned it. And it is the issue of eBay censoring buyers' messages to sellers. Now, there's a link down below for Mel's video from Back to Burnout. She's in Australia. And it's the same thing, whether it's eBay Australia, eBay US, it's all the same animal. In fact, I mean, you're calling the same call centers, regardless of what eBay.uk or co.au or whatever they use. It's the same eBay, guys. Sometimes one site will implement things a little earlier than another, but it's all in the same nutshell. So in this case, a buyer had an issue that left, I guess they left a neutral feedback about one of the books that she sold. And she had reached out to the buyer just to say, hey, would you consider revising your feedback? We can also take a return if you're not happy, that type of thing. And heard nothing. And so she contacted eBay, and eBay was like, well, we got to reach out to your buyer. Well, I have. And then it came out that, well, the buyer responded to her, but and said something to the effect of, I only left feedback because eBay was harassing me to do so. Like every time I logged in, the eBay was requesting that I leave a feedback for this purchase. So, they did so. They left a feedback, not knowing was going to, and really a neutral doesn't hurt the seller. But in this case, they left their feedback, and that message wasn't able to get through. And eBay blocked that message because it was a negative message about eBay harassing the buyer to leave feedback. So I guess what concerns me and all that stuff, I mean, I think in the video, I think, you have every right to kind of be disappointed when you first receive a neutral, but really it's like neutral doesn't really mean nothing. So it's not really worth the hassle. I mean, and for me, this conversation really isn't about that, about the buyer leaving a neutral. It's really about eBay and how proactive they are about getting buyers to leave feedback. They will harass a buyer to leave feedback, right? But they will limit the number of offers we can send them because they don't want the buyer to feel harassed. Isn't that kind of ridiculous? I think it is. But so a buyer feels sort of obligated, like, go away already. I'll go ahead and leave the feedback so that I don't see this pop-up message pop up the next time I log in. And if I happen to say something bad about eBay, maybe, mention that there could be a glitch, I couldn't pay for it. I'm wondering how many people have reached out to sellers saying, hey, I'm having a hard time paying because eBay is not allowing me to pay, or there's a glitch preventing me from paying. And that message never gets to the seller because eBay said, or their bots say, oh, this puts eBay in a bad light. We can't let that message go out. So it's bad. I mean, I was thinking, well, eBay needs to do better with communication, but it seems like they're actively trying to stymie communication between buyers and sellers. And I get it. Look, if there's a message going back and forth, hey, I want your item, but I can get it to you, at this price if we could do the transaction off eBay. I get that. I get eBay why they want to stop that, because it's a thing, right? And I mean, there's times you get a message when someone will write their phone number like in actual written letters on like a screenshot. And you know what it's for. It's for you to contact them to try to do business off eBay. And I'm against that entirely. I think that buyers and sellers should always do the transactions on eBay. eBay provides the site, the infrastructure, or the lack thereof. And to me, it's only fair to do the transaction on eBay, fees or no fees. But for eBay to take that extra step to proactively block communication, and see, communication, if you don't have it, it can lead to misunderstandings. So if it would have been on the other foot, the buyer reaching out to the seller responding that, hey, I had a glitch. There's an eBay glitch preventing me from doing X, Y, and Z. I apologize, because you put eBay in a bad light and putting it out there that there's a problem with eBay. The buyer doesn't get it. Now the buyer thinks you're ghosting them or not wanting to communicate. And it creates a misunderstanding that doesn't have to happen. So I'm a bit kind of, I didn't really know. This came out like last week, that video that I'm talking about, but I just didn't have a chance to check out the video, but it only kind of confirms what I already knew. I mean, eBay, look, guys, I mean, if we're talking about actions speaking louder than words, this is just another example. I mean, eBay doesn't care about the buying. They claim they want to care about the buyer experience, but they really don't if they're allowing this kind of thing to happen. So I want to know what you guys think down below on that. I do want to ask you guys a couple things that relate to reselling. Now, one is we received a order this morning while we are doing our shipping, and it was for a set of 10 balusters. So I guess if you're doing like your own home improvement project, you can go in and replace your the little balusters that hold the rails up. And I sold like a 10 pack of them for like $70 or whatever plus shipping. Came out to like $97. And so all's good, but we already passed our 9 a.m. threshold. Technically, that's going to go out tomorrow, and I didn't think of it. And then about 10 minutes later, it comes back as a cancellation request, and the reason being, found another price. Good old eBay leaves our competitors' items in the same screen when the buyers paid for their item, or once they paid for it, they get a list of here's what you could have bought. And so they are tempted to now say, let's cancel that. I can save $10 on the sale. So, of course, no message from the buyer, none like, hey, whatever, my 3-year-old bought this by accident. Not even that, right? So it's like, man, it's like this. Once a buyer agrees to buy an item from a seller, it's technically a binding contract. In fact, that's why they call it a cancellation request. And I want to know how you guys handle cancellations. I mean, look, I don't need to force a sale. So we ended up talking about it, and we decided to go ahead and just cancel it, rather than let's go ahead and run the label and send it today. Okay. But I was within my rights to do so and then upload the tracking and decline the cancellation. But I want to know your thoughts on that process. How do you handle cancellations requests? Do you want to hear from the buyer and actually see an actual real reason why they need to cancel? Maybe, hey, I just ordered this, thought it was this model number, bought that model number. So I want to know what you guys think on that. What's your stance on that? Because it was one of those things where we're just kind of wondering how should we handle this today, and we went with deciding with the buyer at this at this moment. So yeah, I have some other things that I wanted to kind of talk about, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save them for videos, because eBay happens to seems like on Mondays and Fridays they really like to give me content, and they know that I'm going to go live and I don't want to make videos while I'm going live. So I'm probably going to put a video out tomorrow about a couple things. Number one, I had a return request after 30 days that I declined, and I received a negative feedback, which is not there anymore. But the fact that eBay allows the buyer to be disappointed when you don't offer or accept the return after 30 days. I think we've talked about that before on this channel, but I'll get to that like on another video. But there's a lot of stuff already out there that I've floated out there that I want your thoughts on anyway. So put your comments down below. I certainly would appreciate that. And so I see it's about 11 minutes after, and that's usually when I try to shut myself up. So I want to get to your comments and everything. We have PTS Treasures in the house. Thanks for being here. Flippin' Con Marco. Hey, John and Jenna and the rest of the FAE fam. Happy Monday. Yes, happy Monday, everyone. Jim Harden says, hi, John and Jenna, everyone. Glad to catch alive. Has been dealing with a family member who's battling cancer for a third time.
I'm sorry, Jim.
I'm sorry, but here's the silver lining. They beat that thing twice. They can do it again. So just hang in there. Give them all the support that they need. Cancer sucks big time. That stranger says, hello. Hope everyone is doing well. So far, so good. I think it just depends on your outlook, right? Well, one person can think they're having a bad day, and then, unfortunately, hear about, Jim's family member, and it just kind of gives you some perspective as to, things could be worse. So doing as well as can be. Brian H says, hello, everyone. How you doing, Brian? Thanks for being here. Jim did go to a community yard sale over the weekend, found military pants, jackets with the liners, parkas for $1 a piece. Mm-hmm. Bought them all. You got a better deal than I did. I got the plastic, what do they call them? What are they called? Trunks or whatever. The trunk. Oh. Yeah. The plastic trunk. They used to be better than plastic. I thought they were like metal before, but they're now plastic. And I'm not going to sell that online.
Well, speaking of, it needs to go in the large item.
It's probably going to go large item pickup.
Because it has a big hole at the bottom.
Yeah. So I wasn't going to get anything out of it anyway. So you got a better deal than I did. Good job with that. Jackie Bleckner says, hello all. Thanks for being here, Jackie. Glenda Bavona says, hey, everyone. I'm usually just a lurker, but decided to speak today for a change. Well, thanks for being here today. I appreciate that. I just wonder how many people are watching the live that just say, you know what? I don't want to get on there and say anything. Why not?
Tommy might harass me, or Roman.
Yeah. But you know what? We like seeing new faces pop into the chat. So if you got any questions or anything that you want to contribute to the conversation, please take a moment. You'll be surprised the level of knowledge these people have here in the chat. So it's good to see. But we have a question here from Flippin' Con Marco. Says, question, I bought something on eBay and paid overnight. They sent a push notification asking if going forward I wanted to use my earnings to shop on eBay. Has anyone else gotten this? Yeah, it's the thing that we made a video on, I believe, last year, where they launched this thing where you can use your funds for what they do is they hold your funds back. So like maybe you have it set for daily or weekly. Well, they hold your funds so that you have it available there to shop. And then in 30 days, whatever funds you don't use get sent to your bank. Frankly, whether it's a credit on eBay side or in my bank, if I'm going to buy something on eBay, it's going to be spent anyway. And all that is a way for eBay to make money on holding your money and getting interest on that, banking it, or investing it. Mike Camparelli says, hi, John and Jenna. Hello, all. Happy Monday. Hope sales have been good for all. So how you doing, Mike? Thanks for being here, buddy. It seemed like things were fine, but Sunday rolled around and our best day of the week was just like crickets. So it is what it is. Just have to focus on next weekend.
I keep trying to tell him that it's he'll be like, oh, well, not very many sales this weekend. And I say, it's not really about the amount of items you sell. It's about the dollar amount that you've sold.
Right.
And we didn't do bad. We didn't have a bad weekend.
Right.
When it comes to dollar amount. Yeah. It's because our items are bigger and more expensive, and therefore we don't have to sell as many to make what we like.
You got to have the same mindset when it comes to listing and selling. Okay. It's hard for me to even fathom having a different mindset. If your mindset is, look, I'm not interested whether I can list 100 items today, 50 items today, or 20 items today. It's about how much money am I putting in my store. Okay. So with the same thought process, how much money am I making every day in sales? And it shouldn't matter how many sales that you're making. If I'm making $500 today in sales, it's $500 today in sales. Or are you focused on how many items am I listing today and how many items am I selling? But there's no money attached to either one of those things. And I think that's a big fallacy. That's something that a lot of YouTubers talk about, is the number of items they list rather than how much money we're actually putting in our store. Because, let's say you want to make a lot of money on eBay and you only have $500 in value in your store. I mean, you might have 100 items that are $5 a piece. You really think that you're ever going to get a $500 day? Probably not. So that's why I try to switch that focus from the number of items you list to the amount of value that you have in your store. And that mindset takes a lot of pressure off, I think. I mean, we have our days, we get a lot of listings done, but it isn't like, okay, I've failed because I didn't list 10 items today. And we have consistent sales for the most part because we're listing higher ASP items rather than low ASP items in a higher number. So, yeah. So as far as that money, though, that eBay wants to, oops, I think I'm looking at the wrong comment. Hold on real quick. I'll skip that thought here for a second. I think I already talked about that. Picky Ricky says, my summer slowdown has started possibly. Okay. But I also have not bought anything for like 10 days in an effort to boost my available cash. I was just caught me by surprise. I didn't know if that was like an English term for something. Has started possibly. That stranger says, I had messages stop with the buyer about address change on $200 sale last week. I said eBay wouldn't let me change it. No messages showed up for 10 hours. Then I got 5 at once. Thought this was a lag. Well, it makes me wonder that maybe someone said something. There's a problem with eBay, or there's a glitch with eBay, and you didn't get the messages because it was held back. I don't know why that you finally did get the message, because the thing with Mel, she never got it at all. So interesting. That could have been one of our famous eBay glitches that I don't even have a glitch of the day, by the way. So I think that's good news. But yeah, hard to say what that was about.
Yeah, Picky Ricky said he forgot the P.
Yeah. Okay. I thought possibly was a new word. That stranger says it worked out. The buyer was able to receive the item at the old address, got good feedback, and everything was fine. Okay, there you go. As long as everything works out in the end, that's all that matters. We got Mary Knight says, hello, actually making the live at least for a bit. Well, thanks for being here. Awesome that you're here. We have Christina says, hi, everyone. My payout from eBay was for $6.90 for Saturday, but I only received $2.30 in my bank account today. I already received the Friday payout. Any advice why I received less? Well, here's the thing. When you go to your payouts, so when you go to your seller hub by clicking selling on the drop down, and then you go to payments and you go to payouts. So every payout should be listed there. So if you actually have a payout amount that's listed and it doesn't match what you received, first thing I do is look at the other account. It could be from the other account, but if you have one account, I would be on the horn with eBay and calling eBay, finding out where's my money. Because again, glitches will happen, and this could be a glitch, but the moment you start messing with our money, that's when you really need to pay attention to that. So, and there should be I mean, if it says you're going to get 690 in your payouts, but you only get, less, so there's something wrong there. And I start to get worried when people start talking about they're not getting their money. Managed payments has been pretty solid since when it was launched. A lot of people thought, we're going to let eBay be in charge with managed payments. At that point, people knew about the glitches that eBay was famous for at that time, back in 2000 and was it 2019 is when we joined, September, and then they roll it out in 2020. And they've done pretty, I got to say, to their credit, eBay's credit, they've done pretty well with managed payments up to this point. So let's hope that that's not a new thing.
Let's keep that.
Yeah. Knock on particle, Lord.
On particle.
Callie Deb says, hi, everyone. I hope you all had a good weekend of sales. You know what? My focus is next week is going to be better. Now, what I'm hopeful here is the dogs are barking because I left
Because I just did this.
well, I left the packages, the U.S. mail packages out. We had a big Santa bag full of U.S. mail packages. And I told Jenna, I said, the carrier is going to be pretty PO'd because the bag was pretty heavy. So she's probably dragging it out to her.
Do you want me to go try?
Yeah, if you could, please. But I know that we're going to be getting a doorbell ring here in the next probably 20-30 minutes because we have FedEx packages that are sitting out there. We have another big pile of big boxes. And do you guys notice the color changed when she left? That's really weird. Got really purple in here. So weekend of sales will be better next weekend. I'm confident in that. So this one Sunday was just a anomaly.
You were right.
And we bounced back on Monday. Today was a pretty good sales day, and we're back on track. That's all that matters. Picky Ricky says, good news, though, is that I just decided to go to a UK boot sale and just threw all of my death pile in a car and sold it at the fair. 182 pounds in 6 hours. So that's like about $30 an hour.
She was dragging it.
That's what I said that's what I said. She's probably dragging it.
She was dragging it down the.
But you know what? It's like, wait, it wasn't that heavy.
She's so lazy.
But the thing is, okay, you're dragging it down probably, to give you guys an idea, probably about 30 to 40 yards from our front door to the street. And between the front door and street, there's like a walkway that happens to be like a dirt walkway. So she's dragging this bag full of stuff. I hope there's no hole in that bag and ripping my packages. But you know what? The fact is that she's made progress from showing.
Not really.
Well, I mean, from
she
what
didn't come all last week.
Yeah, don't know what that was about. But I so badly want to just buy a gift card to say here, but I just, it's hard to reward bad performance, and I don't know. Don't think that's ever going to change. What's kind of cool is her replacement showed up last week. He did show up one day last week. He came to the door and he said, yeah, you guys need any more bags?
He's such a personality. It's like a breath of fresh air.
But the man's brought us, I mean, we have
bags for days.
We have 4 bags filled with bags in our garage. I said, dude, we're cool, man. I said, we probably have a good month before we need any more bags. So a guy is pretty cool.
We probably have all the bags.
He deserves the gift. He deserves the gift cards. Probably going to go there because that guy's totally cool. Yeah. But he won't bid on. He has more seniority than this carrier, but he likes being put on different routes for some reason. So he enjoys his gig, even though I try to talk him into finding a way here, but he won't do it. So let's see. We have Biscuit Butt. He's here. I don't know if he's actually here or he's passing through. But what's up, FAE crew?
Here, there, and everywhere.
Janet says, hi from Georgia. Thanks for being here, Janet. Guide Guru says, hey guys, I made it. Mary says, summer slowdowns are here, plus lots of low ball offers, but have not been able to list consistently for about a week. Been sorting out my aunt's collectible stuff in storage, done and now ready to list. So my thing is, get listing if you can. It's just amazing that what I've noticed, if you take a few days off of listing, even though eBay says you don't have to list every day, I think that activity of listing, getting listings in consistently in your store, it does have a effect on your sales. I just really do. There's no scientific evidence, but everyone I seem to talk to, the moment they stop listing, it's like, man, my sales kind of fall off. Even on our secondary account, when we have ruts where we just focus on the main account, the sales start to fall off. That stranger says no sales at all on the weekend, but I got a couple 2 hours ago just thinking about hitting the like button. Not a lot there. Just hit that like button. Nothing to think about, right? Just hit it.
What do you got to lose?
I mean, think about all the stupid things that you may have done in your lifetime. Hitting the like button is definitely not going to be right up there. So I'm sure you wasted a lot more time than the 5 seconds it took to hit the like button. So please hit the like button. I appreciate it. Guide Guru says, I had a fantastic weekend. Got a bunch of vintage trains and they're moving good. Choo-choo.
Choo-choo.
Yep. Awesome. Trains are cool. John Doe says, I probably should have grabbed all those new in-box vintage model trains when they were only $5 each, but I'm a noob when it comes to that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, but thing is, when you're an everything seller, I mean, you're going to see a lot of things you've never seen before or tried to sell before. And it's just a matter, it's going to be worth taking that time to go in and just do a search. And I have my app set up on my phone to where I do a search on the item and it automatically goes to solds. So you can go and say, oh, okay, these trains, they sell for, I don't know, 50 to $100 a piece. I don't know if that's really the case, but just throwing that out there, that'll give you an idea. Well, maybe I should pick these up now. And, the fact that you're new, you're always going to keep learning in this business. So, I can go to a yard sale and I feel like a newbie when I'm dealing with certain stuff. Picky Ricky says, I guess Hornby not so known over there. I've never heard of it. So, but again, I don't sell a lot of the same kind of things that you do. But to know what that is. Mark Sudick says, hi, John and Jenna and all eBay sellers. Everyone remember, hit that like button so you'll have a great sales week. Well, I didn't promise that. I promised one sale.
Well, we can start it off. How about that?
Gail Carlson says, hello, Flippin' family. Thanks for being here, Gail. Appreciate you. Callie Debs had a great Posh weekend and a terrible eBay weekend.
Ours was flipped.
Yeah, we really,
Posh is just it. I'm so active on there, and I even, over the weekend I was cross listing. So
hard to say, but we're not getting a lot of new stock of we have a lot of shoes. Don't get me wrong, but we don't have a lot of new shoe listings on eBay right now. We're focused on a lot of other stuff. So there's not a whole lot to cross list anyway. ABC Matt says, hi, John and Jenna. How you doing, ABC? I appreciate you being here. Silver Hair Stacker says, hello to one and all. Yes, even the Tommy Roman tag team.
That's Todd.
That's Todd? I thought his name was Larry.
No.
I don't know.
No.
Todd Larry, I'm sorry, but we'll get it right. Guide Guru says, I haven't seen it, but I'm not a huge into this item. It mostly Athern, Bachman, Lionel, and Montayo Tycho. I've heard of Tycho, of course. I think we all have. But those are trains. Raul Solis says, hello, John and Jenna. Thanks for being here, Raul. Cassandra says, sales are going good. I want to say thank you to whoever mentioned hunting equipment last Monday. If you think about it, this is the time. I mean, I guess from like springtime until like fall, people are hunting all kinds of different things. So summer activities, got to get the stuff that people are going to be using right now. Tommy says, hola, summer speed up is here and Roman isn't far behind. Hey, I've seen Roman list on his lives. There's nothing speedy about his processes. He had a 6-hour live with 4 items that he listed. That's not good. Cassandra says, found a Sitka full choke pack at a garage sale for $15, like new condition. Hope to sell for $150. I don't know what that is. What's a Sitka full choke pack? Sounds like
sounds a little concerning.
Sounds a little personal. Sounds a little personal. I don't know about that. ABC Matt says, what do you think eBay thinking giving the buyer the ability to take a photo of the item that they bought? You mean with feedback? Yeah. I don't think it's good at all. I think it doesn't suit a purpose. I mean, eBay, think about it this way. Any change that eBay makes to the site, whether it's fixing a glitch, implementing a new feature like this, right? It costs money to do that. And so most times when corporations are thinking about how they want to invest their money into programming or whatever, there's usually a purpose behind it. but they've never really given us a reason or a purpose for allowing buyers to leave a photo with negative feedback.
I mean, what's the benefit of that?
I mean, yeah, you've already given them the novel, right? They went from 80 characters to, I think it was 80 characters, maybe it was less than that, but 80 characters to 500. I mean, you allow them to write a novel, that should be suffice. Yeah. I mean, if it was a bad experience, that should scare off the seller, the next buyer, or at least make them think twice about buying from that seller. But to be able to list a photo, it just seems unnecessary and a little extra to me. Haircut McGee says, "Hey, yay, Jenny, your hair is way more fabulous than sunny Las Vegas." Yeah, well, he has some. Sunny has some hair too. I saw him at the Trash to Cash get together, and yeah, that guy has some hair. Alicia Curtis says, "Hello, John and Jenna and everyone. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you." We got Leonard here. "I've tried Tommy markdown sale every day. It's working. Sales are good." The 24-hour thing. I don't know. We tried that on the other one.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. 100%. I came in and told you I switched it for the month of June.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing what Tommy had recommended. I went in and did a copy. And the way you have to do it is I like doing it from midnight, but you can't do it until 11:30, which is the last option for that day, because it says the sale has to be at least 24 hours. So it's from midnight till 12:30 the next day, 12:30 in the morning the next day. And I did that for every day of the month of June. And I don't know necessarily the sales have been that great on that account.
Maybe that's why I had 9 sales over the weekend.
Well, there we go again. You're talking about it ain't about the number of sales.
I know, but
how much did you actually make on those sales?
That for that store doesn't really.
Yeah. So
it's totally different, totally opposite than what I said.
But in all fairness, again, we haven't done a whole lot of listing on that account anyway. So it's we're going to ramp up the listings in there.
Trash most of it.
Well, the idea is to get people to buy it. How about that? We'll try that first. Woody's Comic Chest. "Hello, fam. Hope sales are doing well. Sit back and enjoy the content. Keep up the great work." Well, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Get your popcorn or whatever you like to snack on, and come and hang out with us. Raul says, "Hello, John. So I sold a Baby Bliss. The buyer got it, and without any message or update, she filed for a refund. How can I protect myself from being a fraud or me getting scammed? Thanks." Well, okay, so she filed for a refund, which means she probably opened a return. Provide the return label if you, if I don't know how she filed the return. Was it, an item not as described, or that's kind of the first thing. If they open a return saying, just didn't like it or something like that, I'm not concerned, because a lot of times that happens where people buy things and they just don't like it. I have 2 open returns where people said just didn't like it. But if they say item not as described, or they try to say something in the reason for returning that's alarming, like, no, that ain't what I sent you, then I would be kind of concerned. But open the return anyway. One thing I like to do is get out in front sometimes if I'm concerned that, we're dealing with a high-end item and or there could be something funny going on. I'll send a message, "Hey, thanks, thanks for opening a return," but really not thank you for opening a return. But anyway, I noticed you open a return, and I've sent a return label over through the eBay system. Please make sure that you're sending everything back in the same packaging, the original packaging that I sent you. Make sure that all the accessories are included, and please make sure it must be in the same condition as what it was sent to you as, because it can affect your refund. So it's telling the buyer that they're not dealing with an Amazon return, that you are going to inspect the item once it gets there. And when it gets to you, you have time. You have like a couple days, like 2 business days, to fully inspect the item. So I would try to power it on, make sure it fires up, make sure it's in the same condition that you sold it. If it's different, then you need to start taking photos, and then you would go in and use the refund tool. I made the video last week, late last week, about the refund process. So go in and use the refund tool if they sent you something different, or if they used the hell out of it and it's not the same condition. But one thing that I made a video today about, and hopefully you guys will take notice, is that if you use the refund tool and you file as the reason for adjusting the refund as either damaged or I think it was either used or damaged, then you're not getting your final value fees or your promoted listing fees back. If you could say missing accessories or the item was opened, like if they opened it up to maybe take a hard drive out of something or whatever, then apparently, according to that's not covered under the policy where they're not going to refund you those fees. So you're safe there. But don't do what I did. If you're going to mess with that refund tool, just go the whole shebang, 50%. Because if you're paying 13 point something % final value fees plus another 2 to 10% or sometimes even more, you're going to find that, well, all I did was I took it away from the buyer and eBay kept it. Okay. So we don't want that. So watch the video I put out this morning after we're done here if you want a little bit more explanation on that. Guide Guru says, hit the like. John guarantees a sale. Yes, we do. And we'll give you your money back. That money you spent to hit the like button. We're going to give you every cent of it back. Haircut McGee says, Mel from Australia is the bee's knees. Yay. Just don't let her drink on live streams. That would be interesting.
I don't think anybody should be drinking on live streams.
No, not at all. Tommy says, Leonard, good to hear. Nothing is guaranteed, but the fact you're willing to try things with your business is great. Yeah, don't be afraid to try new things. That's for sure. Leonard or no Leonard, anyone out there who sells on eBay should.
Says the guy that doesn't want to try the 24-hour.
We did.
I know.
I thought initially
you're downplaying my.
Well, I thought initially
sales.
Tommy was joking. I really thought it's like that seems redundant to me. Putting a new markdown sale every day.
If it makes sales, well, I don't why know. Not?
I really don't know. I mean, we're 4 or 5 days into this little experiment that we're having, and at the end of the month we'll know. But I'm sure that you got to do all the things that you got to do.
I think it might be a little more effective on your account.
Well, we ain't trying that on my account. But I mean, Tommy's got a million pairs of shoes.
The guy who says you should try.
Yeah, well, we are trying it, just not on my account. Here's the thing: if it's working, don't do it. So, like for instance, Tommy is killing it with the shoes, right? So, a lot of the stuff I tell you to try, he shouldn't even come close to even thinking about going and putting those things into play. It makes no sense. So, why would you? What are you trying to do? Are you getting to the point where you're greedy and you need more sales? I guess, but I think you run the risk of, screwing something up, right? What was working and it's working right now. Don't utilize anything I tell you if you're killing it. Steve Posty says, hello all, we're here. Good weekend for us. Good. Awesome. That's good to hear. Let's see. Perfectly Blessed is 4 minutes in and enough comments to last John an hour. I try, guys. I really do. Sunshine62 says, hi, John and Jenna. Today I got your listings will migrate to eBay international shipping. I'm completely confused. Can you explain this again? I rarely ever get international orders. Thanks in advance. So, okay. So that last sentence is key to everything that's said here. So eBay is migrating X amount of sellers throughout this whole process. I don't know when they're going to be done, but once they get to every seller that's on the platform, then they'll be done. But apparently they're not. If you're just getting this message, you're probably in one of the latter groups that haven't been moved over. So all that means is your status is now opted in, at least in your business or your shipping policies. Okay. But that may not mean you're opted in correctly. If you said here, I rarely ever get international orders. So that means to me that you have international selected in your individual shipping policies. By having international selected in your individual shipping policies nullifies eBay's international shipping program for you, even though they've opted you in. Your business shipping policies need to be fixed. If you want to be opted in, you have to go in and turn off international on all of your individual shipping policies. You have to turn it off and basically go no international and do that for every single one. And by remaining opted in, you're now opted in the program. The only caveat is that for some people like myself, by opting in the proper way, by getting rid of international shipping and being set up for the program, it killed my sales. And then I had to go in and click on opt out and my sales went back to normal. So I'm going to give at least another 2-3 months before I actually go back and opt in to see what happens. So let's see. Tommy says, ever seen Mel's eBay stores? No, neither has anyone else. LOL. Yeah, she sells books, I think. She's a bookseller. And you probably won't see her sales in the US because she sells in the UK. So Mark Suddick says, Jenna, you look great today, all done up. Hope John is taking you out tonight for all the hard work he makes you do. Yep. McDonald's is my spot.
Wow. I got downgraded from Sizzler to McDonald's.
Well, you know, we hit In-N-Out Burger the last 2 days. So I'm all like, I want a home cooked kind of meal.
So what are you gonna make me?
I don't know. We'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll have to figure it out. And then an hour later I'll be on Uber Eats. Right?
You'll be like ordering something.
Yeah. Let's see. Haircut McGee, 6-minute John response, lag checkpoint. One day I'm going to surprise you guys and just like fire through the comments and say, okay, after 30 minutes,
there won't be any monologue. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, that would be, because that's a lot of preparation. This YouTube gig ain't easy. I can tell you that. Unicorn Museum says, I felt for her. She clearly wants to do right by her buyers. Excellent customer service is important to her. And this happens. Yeah, I get it. It is important. But I think what happens is sometimes we focus on the things that really aren't that important because we feel slighted, or we feel like, I think it's more about maybe feeling like, how dare you hide this communication from me? I mean, look, this is my business. eBay is just the facilitator of the business. They shouldn't be the one that gets to read the message and determine if you get to see it or not. You know, it's just not right. At the end of the day, you know, we're not getting the ding. I mean, eBay is not getting the dings that the buyers, you know, they're not getting the defects and all the bad marks that these buyers want to leave. So shame on eBay for doing that. That's just not right. Tommy says, I wish eBay would block all my messages. I'm surprised by that.
There are some days where I'm sure John thinks
Tommy seems like he's really on top of customer service. I'm surprised by that message. Leonard says, got my sale for the like. There we go. There we go. Silver Hair says, can we get Elon Musk to buy eBay? Problem solved. I guess. I mean, you know, he might make all sellers sign up for Neuralink, right? And get that chip put in their brain. I don't know. That's he's working on that too. I think with Elon Musk, he has a lot of good ideas, but then there's a lot of ideas that are just a little far out for me. But Woody says, I just got positive feedback on eBay that said NA. What the hell? I got one that said no comment. So, you know, it seems okay when you get a negative, when you get a positive feedback that is something like NA or no comment, it feels forced, right? It's probably like, okay, eBay, I logged on here 10 times this week, and every time I log on, I can't do anything until I answer this stupid question about feedback. Fine, I'll leave feedback. I don't have anything to say. NA. Okay. Look, to me, feedback is no news is good news. You don't leave me any feedback, I'm happy with that, because you fish for feedback from a buyer. It may not be positive. So I guess just be happy they left a positive feedback if all they had to say was NA. Linda McBride says, just noticed there's a new thing on eBay. When you leave a positive or negative feedback, now you can leave photos. What's that for? Good question. I think it's just I don't know, maybe just to dig into the seller that much more. I mean, how can it help a seller? You know, how about we talk about features that eBay implements that's actually positive for the seller base?
I don't think we have any.
Well, I mean, again, they promised one.
But they haven't implemented it.
Yeah, they haven't implemented that. Now, it could be that they are trying to implement the whole instant payment feature that I think a lot of us, including myself, kind of just said, well, it's given up on it. But maybe they run into more glitches that they can handle, and they maybe aren't doing it. It would be nice to have them say, hey, look, we've given up. I would respect that more than to make us just wait. And then instead of putting those resources into finishing the process, they're putting in the ability to leave photos on negative feedback. So I don't know.
We all know it's not new news. eBay is more about the buyer than they are about the seller.
And do we know that if we can leave a return photo back? Because maybe they said, well, the seller sent me this, right? But there might be scamming you, and that might be because scammers like to leave negative feedback too, to kind of add credibility to their story. I wonder if we're allowed to leave photos in the return. I don't think so, but I'd be surprised if we were. Let's see here. Biscuit Butt says eBay blocking us. All right. Well, yeah, they are. It's sad that they're blocking us with our messages. It doesn't matter. Look, unless I'm saying, look, let's meet up at the corner store and I'll sell it to you cheaper. eBay shouldn't get involved in that. Bill York is in the house. Thanks for being here, Bill. We have Ed, the reselling writer. And you know what? I was looking at an old live stream. I guess I think I've got 200 some odd of these lives. It's amazing. And
Really?
and yeah. And I was like, who is I forgot the name. Zora and Sano? Maybe I'm wrong. But that was Ed. That was Ed. He changed his name to Ed the Reselling Writer. And I'm like, wait, I remember them. They used to always comment on my videos. So cool to see you today. Roman's in the house. Tommy finally realized that the selling shoes won't cut it anymore and asked me if I can ask big YouTubers for help to sponsor his podcast with Patreon money. If you ever watch Tommy's Instagram, Tommy the Bernard podcast, that dude has it looked like a dump truck rolled into his garage and just dumped all these shoes into his work area. He has a ton of shoes. So I'm surprised he even has time to hang out with us today with all the shoes he's got to deal with. Biff Boffel says, between terrorizing people and censoring emails, eBay has some pretty thin skin. Yeah. But you think that they would have learned their lesson from, back in, 2019 with the Steiners. You think that they would have learned that, but it just seems like they're, maybe they're not going to that extreme, but there seems to be some element of brand protection. It's like you can't say anything negative about us because it's defamatory and we can't have that. If they'd spent the same energy trying to get people on the site, we'd see, I think a lot of us would see even more sales. We'd have more buyers on the platform. Guide Guru says eBay was having problems with UPS labels this morning. Had to use pirate ship to get my package out. I didn't see that. So I think sometimes we get one person will get, a bunch of problems, or a group of people will get a bunch of problems, but not everyone. Because I didn't see that this morning.
We also don't run UPS labels anymore.
Well, you're right. But I did see the option on there. I did run some USPS labels through eBay, but not UPS. Let's see what if I can get to some new people. John Doe says, I learned 2 new things yesterday that will increase my profit: blue lines and diamond cut. Blue lines and diamond cut. So is that like for rings or something, or I don't know. Please add to that if you can, because I don't know what you mean.
You're confused.
Yeah. Ed says, I normally just cancel it because why bother with a possible bad buyer? If I already packed and printed the label, I'm sending that out.
Yes, that was my thought. And when he told me it's up to you,
I just wanted to hear what you say. I want you to decide.
I said, I'm not shipping it because I haven't packaged it to be shipped yet. And why? When I have a gut feeling that this person, I just don't think that it's in our best interest to send it out.
Well, it makes me think of crazy New York driver Joe DeMarco, and when he was making videos, he would talk about when he get a cancellation, it's like no, and I'd send it out anyway, and those people never open returns. Rarely do they open returns. I mean, I'm sure they do, but
I would rather have a buyer that is more than happy to pay the price, get the item, love it, and leave a positive feedback. I don't want to deal with all the other.
So what is your strategy? Because what I did and what I think I want to do, I just want to do this, is as soon as that sale comes through, time to print the label. And then we'll just slap, because I already have the package weight and the package dimensions, right? So get that label printed, boom, put it in a stack. Tonight or tomorrow when we do shipping, we got them right here. Just slap them on the package. And oh, you want to cancel? Oh, sorry, we already ran the label. We're talking about $100 sale. Look, I don't need to force $100 sales, but it's more about like buyers need to learn that you can't just willy-nilly buy something and agree to a transaction with the seller. And then, yeah, eBay doesn't do a good job. They put this little they dangle this price under their nose after they just got through spending 100. Well, we can save you 20. This one's for $80. Right. And then they put the magical word, maybe it's a listing that says free shipping. And so, oh, wow, I can save $20 for the same thing. So I'm going to cancel. And the reason why she was canceling, found better price. Mm-hmm. It ain't my fault that you didn't do a good enough job, researching, the buyer you want to buy from with the same item at a lower price. But you agreed to buy the item. So I'm just fulfilling your wish, right? That's the way I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think down below? No One Design says, Jenna looks too fancy. Jenna, you going out on a date, and does John know? I think the secret's out. I think the secret's out. No, sorry, guys. I'm not. She's gonna leave me home to list. She's leaving me home to list. I might go to the grocery store. Yeah. Since he is gonna make me some dinner. That's right. PB&J, here we come. Flippin' Con Marco, I had 2 cancellation requests with the same reason. Found a better price. I just went with it. I figured it's worth the trouble. It's not worth the trouble. Yeah. I didn't even know that was even an option. Unless are they allowed to freehand type it in? No, it's an option. There's drop down on how many different reasons as to why. Yeah, I know. And so eBay knows. They know that I've never seen that option though. I mean, it used to be the theory was, well, they just want that 30-cent transaction fee, but of course they give it back to us now. Why would eBay create a confusion state? I've already bought this item. So now I've got to go through, as a buyer, I got to go through this process of sending a request. This is just a request. So now what am I going to do as a buyer? I'm requesting to cancel this sale. This other seller has one of these available. Am I waiting for a refund? Because as a seller, we don't have to refund anything right away. We can just let it marinate with the buyer and just let it sit there. And the buyer, maybe they are unsure. And so do they buy that item, or are they waiting, for us to give them their money back because they can't afford to buy 2 of these? I just don't understand why eBay would put a option in there that would cause potential problems for both buyer and seller, and or misunderstandings, because you go in and ship that out. Now the buyer's PO'd because they went and bought it from this other guy. So I don't know. I just think eBay sometimes gets in not only their own way, but in our way as sellers to succeed. And I think that's one of the options. They should never show items, maybe an accessory. If they're, maybe they're using AI now. Maybe they can find a way to utilize that to do a better job. Okay, you bought this. Maybe so you bought this TV. Okay, you bought a TV online, and so now let's show them all the accessories. Maybe a home theater system or all the little accessories like a lighting kit or whatever that would be kind of cool to go with this, right? I can see how that will boost further sales. But showing the same TV to the buyer after they bought it, what are you trying to do? You're not going to get additional sales. You're going to get one sale, and you're going to get a lot of confusion and upset from people. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. Never has. SMKUR50 says, yep, get plenty of cancellations for people saying they found it cheaper 10 minutes after buying mine. Pretty aggravating. So wouldn't it be better to just run the label? Maybe, especially if it's UPS or FedEx, right? Because they don't charge you for the label until it's used. So just run the label. If you have to redo it, right? Just redo it and upload a different tracking number. I don't know. It seems to be in spirit with the way it's set up, even though it's really not. But I could see playing that game. If they want to play the game, play the game. Norman Velez says, cancellations, if it has not been shipped, I'm okay to cancel. It's a lot less headache. If I mail it fast to avoid a cancel, then I feel like I'm welcoming a problem buyer. Mm-hmm. That was my thought. But yeah, at what point, if you're running the labels ahead of time, so Okay, boom, I got the sale. Great. I already have it packed up anyway, because a lot of our large items are already padded and packed and ready to just go. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Why don't I just run the label, put it in a stack? And now I don't feel that way because I don't know if it's a legit buyer or a buyer is going to change their mind in 5 minutes. But I don't know. I know that there's some people who do that or who will deny a cancellation. John says, I accept all cancellations as long as they do it before I ship. Mm-hmm. And you notice that eBay will hide your listing. It's almost like, okay, they make it difficult for you as a seller to choose. It's almost like they're forcing your hand into choosing that you must take the cancellation. It's a lot like this thing I'm going to be talking about in the video I'm going to be putting out about the returns that you get after 30 days. If you've ever denied a return request after 30 days, it says after you deny the return request, eBay will come back with a message. And they want you to explain yourself, by the way. It isn't like they'll take that at face value and say, okay, the return's closed. No, that's not enough. eBay's got to guilt you by saying, we believe it's a good experience to offer returns to buyers, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Well, what's that? That sounds like you're guilting me. And then I have to tell you why. It's always the same statement. eBay offers a generous return, a 30-day return policy. And we follow that. And you didn't open the return in a timely manner, and therefore we don't accept your return. I don't know. There's so many things that eBay can do, I think, to free up any misunderstanding between buyer and seller. But it's almost like they're here to facilitate misunderstandings because they don't make it easy. Biscuit Butt wants to know, Roman, you feeling okay? You've never made it this early. Tommy says, I cancel immediately. No need to waste time. Block them and list more. I think that's important. If you have someone that's that indecisive or that sketchy, I call them sketchy, to agree to buy your item, but for $5, they're willing to totally, turn up the apple cart, for a lack of a better term, it's time to block that person. That stranger says, when I get a cancellation request, I just say, okay, no problem to them because they will very likely return it anyway. But is that a proven thing? I mean, I guess.
No, it's not. But we all know, we've been doing this for so long that we already know the outcome of this.
Well, we think we know that. But
9 times out of 10.
How many people actually say, you know what, I'm sending it anyway? And if you are one of those sellers out there that send it anyway, what percentage of those people want to return your item? Because, like Crazy New York Driver, he's just one person. I get that, but he sells a lot of large items, and he ends up getting rarely any return requests from those people.
But he's one seller.
Is one seller. That's why I'm asking the other sellers out there who do that, who say, forget that, I'm sending it out anyway, and here's the tracking number. I want to know how many of those items come back. Roman says, Archie realized that selling on eBay is not a good idea. He'll just join Las Vegas Knights hockey team as a goalie. They make at least $500,000 a year.
Wow. You're shaking the whole thing.
That's worth shaking the whole thing. He was talking about liking the Golden Knights, though. So there might be something to that, Roman. Because I think
we're not hockey fans.
Because between 7 and 10 p.m. out here when the Knights are playing, he's nowhere to be found. So he could be the goalie. Hard to say with those masks and everything. Janet says, I usually just cancel the sale rather than be concerned about a return. Okay. Silver Hair Stacker. Anyone know where I can get a clear plastic football case? You're asking the wrong guy.
No idea.
In fact, I haven't sold a single one of these damn things. It's like, I think I have a good price point. I've done my research and maybe I just need it. I don't think it's soon enough to be, or I think it's too soon to be in giveaway mode for these cases. Yeah. But I got them on Mercari. There's only a couple that I haven't listed. I think I have some softball cases. I have a case of those, like 36 count. I have another variation of the football behind me, and that's pretty much it. But nothing sold so far. Everything else is listed. Joshua Isbell says, love the show. Well, thanks, Joshua. Thanks for being here. Mindy Murata says, I will accept the cancellation request if the item is not shipped out rather than returned back to me for more trouble. Yeah. So the buyer is allowed to cancel through eBay 1 hour after they place the order. You know, I just think it's rude. I mean, look, it's rude for a buyer to go in and just expect you to not even send a follow-up, hey, please just cancel my order. I had someone that bought a pair of shoes, sandals. They bought them over the weekend, and they got back to me later that afternoon and said, hey, I noticed these weren't shipped out. This isn't going to work for me, blah, blah, blah. And we canceled it. It was no problem. You know, those Keen, Keen ones. I ended up relisting them because they wanted to cancel them. And look, I'm not a jerk when it comes to. I'm not a jerk. I'm not a jerk. I bet you there's people that are watching that agree with you that think that I am. But you know, look, we're all human. We make mistakes. Look, it's the right thing to do, I think, to send a message to the seller. Hey, look, sorry about that. Wasted your time or whatever. That's cool to me. But I think eBay has made it so easy for people to cancel, and it just comes off as rude. It's like you go through this and you buy the item, you take the steps. It's not just a one-click thing. You click through, you find your form of payment, boom, 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 and then eBay does their role in showing the lower priced item that's the same item and totally screws up the deal. I just have a big problem with. Maybe it's because I'm upset at eBay. Maybe upset at eBay more than the buyer. I don't know. Woody's Comic Chest says, I just had the found better price sale this week. Buy, paid, then asked for cancellation. I don't know. Yep, it's crazy. Unicorn Museum says, found a better price cancellations I've bought on eBay. Then after I buy it, shows me a row of sponsored ads for the same item. Mm-hmm. They throw it in your face that you could have paid less. Yeah. But what's the purpose? I mean, okay, it's like eBay is in the business of just coming up with these things that don't seem to help anyone. Let's show the same item that I already bought, knowing that I'm only going to buy one of these, right? So it doesn't benefit me. I mean, they get more money on the higher price sale. Why would they show it again at a lower price? And it's the same thing with this negative feedback photo. What is eBay trying to do? If you're out there, your resources are better spent on helping facilitate communication between buyer and seller, make a smoother sale interaction between buyer and seller, rather than causing division between buyer and seller. It just seems unnecessary to have negative feedback with photos. I don't know. It is what it is. Janet wants to know the name of your store. Hot. HAUTE _ desert _ deals. Yes. And Hot Desert Deals. Be prepared to be in awe when you go to that store and all the great lavish items that you're. Stop it. What are you making fun of me for? It's not you. That's not you. Those were all your bad. It has nothing to do with you. But I'm just trying to temper Janet's expectations when she gets to that store. It's not the greatest of product. No, it's not. But yet we're still trying to get rid of it. Janet, that's our clearance aisle. That store is our clearance aisle. Anytime Picker says, Archie, it's okay. By the time we reach 80 years old, we'll have at least $10 in our bank account to buy water bottles after all that eBay income. But to Archie's credit, though, Archie is actually really doing well on eBay right now. He's getting a lot of good deals, and he's flipping stuff. And I think he even had $1,000 day the other day. So good on Archie. That's pretty good. Good job, Archie. I am like, you know, you have your notification thing that comes up on your phone, and then I get Archie's phone call. I mean, as soon as he gets the sale, he calls me. So let's see. Carol C says, anyone not getting notifications for offers from buyers? Had 3 offers in my inbox, but they never showed under the red notification bell. I finally said the message a day later. Well, that's not good. If you're getting the message a day later, you're missing out on the offer. Yeah, over the weekend, I didn't get any notifications. I just happened to be always checking my messages or my overview. I always see the little thing slide over, like from right to left on my screen, on my computer screen. Mine doesn't even do that. So I'm like, oh, cool. Here's an offer. Hit or miss if that happens. Well, that's no good. Lawrence Trombley says, I refused after 30 days return. Rude buyer. eBay refunded him anyway with their money. The buyer probably still laughing at me.
Mm-hmm. We've had a couple of those where it just makes you just pissed.
Yeah, it does. And it's, to me, it's one of those things where, especially if they're refunding on your behalf, it's like they don't really have your back. It's like, let's reinforce bad behaviors from these buyers. Biscuit Butt says, John wanted to be hot desert deals, though.
No, he didn't.
No, I didn't.
No, Archie said, wow, John said something nice. He must be drunk.
Yeah. I got a lot of that stuff here. Like my flipping ain't easy.
The juice.
Yep. So, yeah, I must be drunk. Andy says, even if you don't want to say anything, hit the like button for a sale guaranteed. Yeah.
Thank you, Andy. Yes,
definitely.
That's right. You don't have to talk.
And you will hear a cha-ching. There we go.
Right.
Turn that 5 seconds, not even 5 seconds. Hit that like button. We have 175 people here watching.
Drinking ain't easy, says Rich.
Drinking ain't easy. Linda McBride says, I give them a cancellation when I want it. If not, they can always return it as not described. So it depends on what you feel.
Depends on your mood.
Or if that item's been sitting in your shelf for like months, it's like, that item's gone.
Yeah, I take into all of those factors. It really does depend on my mood and how I'm either pissed off when that comes in or I'm feeling, kind of fresh and spicy. And I feel like, okay.
Yeah. Are you more apt to accept the cancellation if the item's been sitting forever in your store versus I just listed this a couple days ago? I'm willing to bet some people will still ship that item that they've like, wow, I finally found that the unicorn buyer, right?
Like that. Okay. There was a lantern thing that we had.
Yeah.
We've had that lantern forever, like since 2 houses ago. Okay. And yes. Wow. And finally somebody sent me an offer and it was a lowball offer, but I was so happy to take that offer. I was like, hurry, ship it up.
Yeah. So I guess you wouldn't have canceled that one.
No.
Okay. See? Linda says, I give them a cancellation when I want it. If not, blah, blah, blah. We just talked about that. Chastity Grant says, I made a sale just by tuning in before I even hit the like button.
Woo!
There you go. Hit it again. And then
you hit the like button, you'll get another
one. There we go. Let's see. We have Lawrence says, got international return. eBay told me to do nothing and they refunded the buyer. How does that work? So if you're using eBay International's shipping program, if you're properly opted in to where that item, you're shipping it to Illinois and eBay takes care of the rest, that buyer opens a return. That returns on eBay now. So eBay could either say, we're going to send you a refund, have a nice day, or they could send the buyer or they can instruct the buyer to return it, maybe provide a return label. I don't know how they're going to do that. And then once they get it, it's eBay's property because they're selling. Basically, they're basically giving the refund back to the buyer. That item stays with them. So you're done. Your money's not being touched at all. You're not dealing with, it's not coming back as a return against you or anything like that. Guide Guru says,
hold on. Tegan, send us an email at flippingainteasy2020@gmail.com. I will work on getting that out for you. Okay.
Because I'm an hour behind on the comments.
Yes.
See, that's why. But you know what? Here's the thing.
Hold on,
I could speed up to these comments, but I really like to get through your comments and questions. And there's a lot of times if I try to fire through too fast through here, like at the end of a live stream, I miss some of your comments, and I really don't want to do that. I think you guys have time. You take the time to write what you think or what you want to say, and the very least I can do is try to read it. Jackie says, just a comment. You're the only one on the planet that pronounces my last name correctly without being told. Love your hair.
Oh, thanks, Jackie.
Bleckner.
Yeah, Bleckner. Yeah. I think that comes from being in customer sort of like what we did at Amtrak.
Well, it can't be because of like my great grammar skills.
Well, no, that's not but that's not the case.
Do they say Blechner?
No, it's Bleckner.
I understand that, but what do people normally say? That's interesting. Callie Deb says, my buyers
mutilated just like they do
Oh yeah.
all other names.
My buyers aren't getting the notifications that I've accepted their offers. The only way they know is for me to follow up with an email.
So how do you know that they're not getting them is my question.
Well, that could be because maybe the buyer and her had a conversation, or a buyer told her, hey, I'm not getting notifications. But to be honest with you, that would explain why, sometimes you'll accept an offer and the buyer doesn't ever pay.
Right.
And so it's like, I didn't hear from you, but maybe they sent a message, you never received it because eBay's blocking it. Sammy Hall says, random, but Jenna, your hair is so pretty. Is it curlers? I need to try to do the same. I'd get a fuzz.
Well, thank you. Actually, it is a 1.5-inch barrel curling iron without the clip. It's just the, I take the thing.
Okay, this is not one of the shows. You're turning this into one of the shows that you watch while you listen.
Sammy asked.
Okay. Chicken Nugget Queen says, LFG. You want to? I know, that's right.
Oh, what's this?
Let's see. Norman Velez says, I get 500 days regularly, even 2 days last week with 1K days, but something is going on and dropped to about 200 a day, making me crazy. Huh. Interesting. Well, I mean, other than the fact that you could be dealing with some type of traffic issue because of the summer slowdown, some people think it's a myth, like it's Bigfoot, I definitely think there's some credence to it, but it's not anything that should get you crazy. It's one of those things where, what I did last year when that kind of thing happened to my account, I just got in there and started listing even more. Kind of got the mindset of, well, if I don't pick up my sales now when things sort of improve in the fall, then sales will improve as well. And that kind of was the thing. It kind of worked because it's a numbers game. The more items you have for sale, you have individual chance of making a sale for every item you list. And if that stuff is just sitting in your garage, you're never going to sell it. Bees Pick Overs says, on the cancellation, if I haven't shipped it yet, it's not a problem. It's when my item is out there and not even arrived yet. Due to holiday shopping, people don't realize holiday shopping is slow. Yeah, last year wasn't so bad as the previous years before it. So let's hope that things are always going to pop up around the holidays. Let's just hope that we never encounter something as bad as it was, say, back in 2021 or 2020.
Tegan, I'm working on it. It may be after the live. I might have to have this guy get in there and figure it out.
Okay. Leonard Kosakowski says, second sale during the live. Yay. Well, awesome. That's good. I need to get in there and hit the like button. Brian H says, this is my ool. Notice there's no P in it. Please keep it that way. Okay, I get it now.
What?
This is my ool. Please don't pee in it. There's no P in it. Please keep it that way. Pool.
No,
okay. Ping G, thanks for being here today. Appreciate you. Rain Gallardo, hi everyone. Only 19 minutes late this time. That's okay. I'm about 30 minutes late reading your remark. Ryan G, LOL, it got purple. Yeah, when you left, it got purple in here, like really purple. I mean, Prince would have been proud. That purple. AZ weird. Cats. Sue Janoski says, happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday,
well,
Sue.
Happy birthday, darn it. Victor Wawiorka Jr. Hey, John and Jen. Thanks for being here.
Hey.
Tony Resells says, hi, everyone.
Hello.
And we have Midnight Merchant. It only takes a smile to fill a room full of sunshine.
Aww.
Yeah. What causes a room to fill full of purple, though? That's what I want to know. When you left,
my
it was
absence.
Really, I guess. William Poland says, I'm telling the truth. If it's not one thing with eBay, it's another. Mm-hmm. I've got $675 order of 60 pounds in Brooklyn, New York, with UPS saying 3 failed attempts to deliver. And eBay tells me it's no longer my problem. Here it goes. But UPS says they're sending it back to me, then saying they're sending it to my customer on the 8th. Huh. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So I wonder if it's one of those things where are you communicating with the buyer right now that through this whole thing? Because if you are, that, they should be contacting UPS to try to get this thing before it comes back. Hopefully they can do that. Maybe go to the local
that's a large
center.
sale.
Yeah. Let's see. Dave Philman says, "Hey, John and Jenna, great video the other day. In returns, we all learn from our mistakes." Yeah. I'm always learning from mistakes. And, I find that when I get a light bulb moment that like, oh, wow, I didn't even realize this, because I'm always looking at policies and stuff. If I didn't know it, chances are some of you out there didn't know it. And even though people were telling me, like the video I put out today, that, certain circumstances, you're not getting your fees back from eBay, I really didn't understand, well, why sometimes do I get it and sometimes I don't. So I kind of didn't put a whole lot of credence in it. And then it happened to me and I'm looking at it and I'm going, wait, this is why. And that's why I pass that kind of stuff on to you guys when I finally figure it out. Leonard has a question. How do you bundle on Posh? Is that
Jenna, how do you do a bundle on Posh? I don't usually do the bundling. The customers, the buyers usually do the bundlings. I don't get into all that bundle junk because it gets too convoluted, and I personally do not like if a stylist bundle items for me. If you sell on Posh, you know what I'm talking about. Sellers can create bundles for you from their store of things that you may not have even have liked or commented on. I personally don't like when they do that to me, and I will delete the bundles because then they continuously put messages on there, and it just is more
it sounds like panhandling.
Yes, and I don't like that. It's just like when you walk onto a car dealership lot. I won't buy a car if you're coming up to me. I will come up to you when I'm ready. And so I don't particularly do any of the bundle thing. If somebody is bundling my items for them to purchase, then I will wait a few minutes afterwards so that I know that they're done, because sometimes it takes them a little while to get through the store. And so once I see that, there's been a pause in activity, I will go in and send them an offer for an even deeper discount than what they got, because they get a 20% discount if you buy 2 items or more. So I'll do that on bundles. But yeah, as far as people doing the bundling for me, I don't do that.
Anybody remember E.F. Hutton? Like what they used to say, when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. We got like almost 200 people, and
wow.
It shot up when you were talking. So it's like Jenna's like that E.F. Hutton commercial. Silver hair stacker Larry says, Todd/Larry. What the hell? I'm Todd. Larry is the cable guy. Sorry about that, Todd. Larry Todd.
I think Mark, some people, you learn people's names in the comments, and because I'm constantly monitoring it, I see people calling each other by their actual names. So I can see them and I know who's who, but he sees them and he's just basically running off of the
I swear I heard Bearded Picker call him Larry. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Mark Suddick says, cancer does suck. I've had it 2 times. The second time 10 months ago, they had to remove my voice box. So now I have a hole in my throat to breathe and need a device to speak. All the cancer survivors. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, Mark.
Mark.
Yeah, it's horrible to hear. But you're here with us. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I have a friend that Duncan. He had prostate cancer it must be like 6 years ago, right? And he was he came to our golf thing, but he's like, I really can't golf, but I'm here hanging out with you guys. I'm going through my cancer stuff, and he's really careful with his diet. He fought that thing, and like the next year, he's like, boys, I'm here and I'm cancer free, right? And so we'd celebrate that as that you're just happy to be here with us, right?
Right.
So
I'm so sorry, Mark. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but you're here.
Cancer
with us.
Sucks.
It does.
It really does.
You know what? Really, I don't know. I don't know. I think by now, with all the technological advances we've had, as a society, by now we'd come up with some kind of cure for cancer.
I'm sure there's a cure out there, but you know what? They make more money off of sick people than they do.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that conversation, but it sucks that there's no actual cure for it.
Is.
Mary Knight says, this question is for anyone who's an everyday seller. I have a bunch of vintage Christmas collectibles that I know will sell. Should I wait until around October to list these, or list them now?
List now, because people who are Christmas collectors will continuously buy all year long.
And sometimes we get into this, okay, I'm going to hold this until October and then I'm going to start listing. And then something comes up and we meant to list it in October and we don't get it started until like the end of October, November. By then it's too late. So get your stuff out there, because people in the summer, they start buying stuff for Christmas. They start getting ready. Yeah.
See, where we buy our items to resell, they'll come up with Christmas stuff to, and I'm like, ooh, we could get that for so-and-so for Christmas, or we can get, they have a Christmas wreath or whatever, some kind of direct, anything that has to do with Christmas. And my eyes are always open because I like to decorate.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm trying to get through your comments, but we have to deal with the long-windedness here. Just joking. Bill Hess says, I'm purchased
so done with you today.
I just purchased 160 antique clocks from 1820 to 1950. Ooh. Most are from the 1800s Killer Collection. I did a full buyout. Awesome.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
I would love an antique clock.
Cassandra says, LOL, Sitka is the brand. Full Choke Pack is the name of the backpack.
It's a backpack.
Made for hunting waterfowl.
Nothing like what I thought it would be.
Okay. AKA Meme P says they're just trying to copy Amazon with the pics and the feedback. Yeah. But what's, you're making that investment in your site. Yeah. Why are you spending this money? Anytime when I was a department head at Amtrak, I would always try to say, okay, this new feature we need in our department. And the first question they asked me was, well, how's this going to benefit the company? You need to show how this is going to benefit our bottom line, because it's going to cost money to put this, implement this thing you want to do.
Mr. Loon, I don't think it's, purposefully, but I don't know that he's even gotten down that far.
I'm trying, guys. The Mad Scientist, I don't want eBay to ask my buyers anything. I've got good communication with my customers. eBay should not worry about feedback.
Yes, I agree.
Tommy says, Jenna, he just likes to poo-poo on your store. The suppression has to stop.
Free Jenna. Yes, free Jenna.
Oh, boy. Joshua Isbell says, how many listings do I need to make offers to watchers trying to figure it out? You get offers to watchers as your items get traffic. I think if they visit your item like 3 times, they click on the little heart icon. You just got to get more items up and list more items in demand. So, watchers, sales kind of all goes in hand to hand. You ever notice you list something that's really good? Well, hold on. You list something that's really good and you get a lot of like offers right away. Well, if you're not getting offers right away, you might not be listing stuff that's really, really good, if that makes sense. What are you laughing at?
You're in trouble.
Okay, well, let me get down to
that. No, you won't. It'll take you 5 hours to get there.
This is why I can't get there, because she's
be
interrupting.
On the lookout.
She's like
new listing in Jenna's store, lightly used husband.
It's like she plays Back to the Future. I'm sitting here trying to get to the end of the comments, and I can't do it. Okay, let's see if I can skip a little bit. We got Yasmin Williams. How do you ask them a question? Don't come at me, LOL.
Ask a question. Before I was asking if you guys could put in the beginning of the sentence question. Yeah. But I
ask.
No, I think she may have. It's
okay.
down.
Okay. So we'll get to that question. Hopefully you asked it. Let's see if I can get down to someone new. Show's in the house. She really is glowing today. She's glowing. All right. Glowing. The Monster Loon says, love me some Krabby Patties. That's what my ex called In-N-Out burgers. In-N-Out is the place. They have like the best burgers. Silver here, cha-ching, 2 for 1. Thumbs up. Woo-hoo! Yeah, there you go. Perfectly Blessed says a little smiley. Simple, beautiful. What's the total cost of fees and shipping in percentage? I know categories are different fees, but what is typically eBay seems expensive? Your thoughts? Thanks in advance. You're a pleasure to watch. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's usually 13.25, I believe, plus the 30-cent little thing that they want to throw in there, just the 30-cent money grab. I got to tell you, that's if you're doing it before you promote. Then you have your 2 to like anywhere up to like 10 or higher percentage points. So it can really get up there. But now if you compare that to like Mercari, I think Mercari is like 15 to 20% total. And I think Poshmark is 20%. It's kind of all the same. eBay used to be the cheapest deal on the block when it comes to fees. But now if you promote, like a lot of us should, then that's where they get you. Yasmin Williams says, hello. Okay, that's not your question. I want to see your question. Maybe I need to keep going. Turn and Burn, Ohio. Hi, all from the great state of Ohio. Hi, John and Jenna. Great job and info. I lived in Vegas for 25 years, moved back to Ohio for 2019. I've been selling on eBay for 23 years, and then go Vegas Golden Knights. Awesome. Well, Vegas, I like Vegas 9 months out of the year. Like June, July, August, actually really more July, August, September are just hot, hot.
And today's our first triple-digit day.
Oh, no. Noah Design says, after getting thousands of feedback over the course, I once in a while get weird one about an item I've never sold. One weird feedback was the leg was just the right fit, would buy again. Yeah, I think I've had that before where someone, I don't sell legs though.
Yeah.
I've had something like that before where the person like obviously like left the wrong feedback, and you send them a message. Like if it's a negative, then you send them a message, say, hey, I think you left me feedback thinking about somebody else. But John Doe, Blue Line, VCR players, diamond cut hats. Okay. Tegan says the eBay International program count in Canada. I've had it in all my ads to shipping international. So yes, you can. I believe you can do the international program if you're in Canada, or if you're in the U.S. Canada is part of that program to ship to Canada. Count Tricker. I've gotten that, found a better price before and shipped it anyway. So now my follow-up to that is, okay, you shipped it anyway. Did you get it back? Did they want to return it, or did you hear nothing back from them? Jeanette says, what if they want to cancel because they don't have the right address? Then you just put problem with address and you cancel it. Like I think I may have told you guys this. I had someone who wanted to buy an item and they bought it, this little cat house that I had for sale, and took an offer on it. So they didn't pay right away. And then they sent me a message saying, can you make sure you send it to Suite 5 and write the gate code on the box? And I said back, well, you need to put all that in your address field. I can't change anything to your address. And then, of course, I had made a mistake, guys. I've been making mistakes like crazy lately, but I made a mistake where I didn't vet the buyer before I took the offer. I was on my phone, and it's harder to do on the app. It wasn't in front of my computer. I just took the offer. And when I was in front of my computer dealing with that address issue, I noticed that the buyer had left like 7 negatives for sellers, and they used to sell on eBay as of a year ago was the last seller feedback. So it's like, this person is like abusing sellers. I don't want to be that person. So I ended up canceling it due to that problem. So, they said, well, ship it anyway, is what their reply back to me was when I told her I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. And I didn't tell her that I looked at her nasty feedback, but I was waiting for her to attack me and say, well, how dare you not? And like, wait, first of all, you're not allowed to change an address. But second of all, I see how you treat sellers, and I ain't doing business with you. But that's a long answer to your statement there. Sorry. Rosie Games says, John and Jenna, great work, both of you. And thanks for the latest tip videos. Have a great week, everyone. Well, thanks for being here, Rosie. Oh, here we go. Ever try a toasted PB&J? Total game changer. I might have to change the game with that. Turn and Burn, Ohio says eBay is the best-selling platform. The others are garbage. The other platforms are good for selling off your death piles of garbage to the low ballers. So like Mercari is a lot like your clearance aisle, right? And my strategy has always been let eBay have it first, and then 30 days or more, then start putting it over with your cross lister. Tegan says, John, have you heard of any one of you from eBay in the US out of the blue to talk to about your sales? I've had this recently. No, I don't think eBay wants to hear from me. I really don't.
They have plenty of content.
I really don't. I really don't think they want to hear my opinion on a lot of stuff because it doesn't shine a good light on them. Unfortunately, I think they'd rather hear from cheerleaders. So hopefully you give them honest feedback because they're looking for the opposite. And they get, like, if you've ever been to the seller check-ins, there's a lot of rah going on. And I guess it's cool to be positive, right? But it's like if no one's speaking up to say, hey, you guys are screwing up, they're just going to think everything's fine. Count Tricker says 2% of them send it back. They're too lazy to ship it back. I think you're right on that. I think that there's a very small, according to Joe DeMarco, Crazy New York driver, he ships them anyway, and he rarely gets them back. Okay, here's the question. Yasmin Williams says, question, if they don't send it back, are you responsible to give them money back? If they don't send it back, no. You have no obligation to send them anything other than the item. So if they get it, let's say they send you a message saying, I don't like the way it's X, Y, and Z. And, all you should do is say, look, we offer a return policy. And I know there's some people out there that have no returns set up. There really isn't such a thing as no returns, because a buyer, if they want to return it bad enough, they can select item not as described or damaged item, and you're on the hook for that return label. And if you're not used to dealing with returns and you have no returns and you say, well, I ain't even going to mess with it, well, the buyer's going to get their money back too and keep the item. But if they want money back or there's a problem, they need to send it back, and no responsibility to give them money back. Now, once you receive it back from the buyer, then you're obligated to follow through with the return and give them their money back. And I agree with this. Hashtag not a jerk. Yes. Monster Loon says, if I haven't shipped, I'm fine with canceling. Aladdin says, customers are jerks. Some of them are jerks. Think about it. Most people are good people. Most people are good people. Unfortunately, it's the good people who don't get remembered. You only seem to remember the jerks, right? The people who gave you problems. And most people are good people and don't give you problems. Ryan G says, if it's shipped, tough cookie. If not, I accept the cancellation. Mm-hmm. Sue says, I canceled asked, although I had it happen once that I was on my way to the post office, so I shipped it immediately. Then they asked to cancel, is not returned. Yeah, if it has that postage on it, it's gone. Midwest Picker says, I had a reseller send a low offer for a new tag Odell Beckham Jr. jersey, youth size. Came back an hour later, asked him to cancel because he thought it was an adult. He thought he had a killer deal.
I bet.
Wow. I would offer him a place to buy a frame for it then, since it's not going to fit. Pamela says, eBay blocking messages. Well, at least I received a handwritten card from a lovely buyer who told me she tried to message but couldn't. Snail makes a comeback.
Oh, wow.
That's horrible. I mean, we don't even talk about it, a lot of this stuff happening to buyers because we don't see it. I mean, the buyers are seeing it, but I'm wondering how many buyers are actually having just as hard of a time getting through a transaction than we are sometimes as sellers. Keegan says, I went on your desert deals page and it won't let me buy anything. Says you do not ship to Canada. It's going to buy that cat bed for my cat. Well, I told. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up international. I just didn't set it up. I'm not going to do eBay's international, but what I'll do is send me an email, flippingainteasy2020@gmail.com, and I'll set it up later on today.
Sent a message, and I tried to fix it on the listing, and it won't.
No. I need to set the policy. You got to change whenever you want to change to have your own. Like for instance, if I want to use Pirate Ship to send out to international, then I need to go into my business policies. All my shipping policies, I need to add international to it. I just don't have it. So I will change that after the live. Rich Colby says, I want to talk about items not selling and then raising the price and boom, it sells. I did that recently after something would not sell for $19.95 with the store sale, raise that price and sale.
Yes.
Is it that, or is it you just had the right buyer that came across and the listing looked good, the price seemed fair, and they went with it.
It could be.
I think sometimes and I'm guilty of this too, we overanalyze things. We do something, it happens, so that must be a thing. I do that all the time. You guys watch my videos, but I think that maybe that's coincidental. Now, if it continually happens, then maybe you're onto something there. PJ's Ecom 2050. Greetings from Australia. Love the shows. Thank you for sharing, guys. Awesome. That's kind of cool. Just
I was thinking, I ran this by John and thought that it would be a cool thing to get a big map of the world and pin where everybody's from and put it in the back. I just thought it would be a cool, fun idea because there's so many people from all over the world that join us and watch the channel. And I thought that would be fun.
We need a big map, and I'd have to start selling these cases to get it out of the way. Yeah. Denise says, is it me or what? I normally sell 10 to 15 items a week. When I opted out of international shipping, that eBay sent me a message saying I was now enrolled and my sales went to 1 to 2 items. So then you opted out, and then they said that you were enrolled? That's weird. But if you're having an issue with sales and you're properly opted in, I would opt out and see if that changes anything. And I made a video a couple weeks ago talking about how I did that, if you want to check it out. Callie Deb says, some buyers want to help with the bundle. There are YouTube videos on how to create bundles for a buyer. But it's like, what if they don't like that dress or shirt or whatever that you have for sale? I don't know. It's like having someone shop for you. I don't know if that's something I want. PJ says, hey, John and Jenna, chargebacks. Any tips for overcoming fraud buyers, especially buyers claiming SNADs significantly not as described and failing to return, or buyers alleging unauthorized transactions? So the unauthorized transaction thing is easy to combat because eBay, you will simply just go to bat for you. And I had a person try to say that they didn't authorize a transaction for 3 records they bought from us, but you just got to go through the motions on that one. eBay will win that one most of the time. But here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. With credit cards, if you have a credit card and you want to go ahead and do a chargeback on something, it isn't as simple as clicking a button to charge back and you're done. At some point, the credit card company is going to want some more information from you. That's how it usually works. But one thing that's in the credit card agreement, like your credit card that you use every day, in your agreement with the credit card company, you have to reach out and work it out with the merchant before opening a chargeback. Okay. If there's no record that you reached out to try to resolve the problem before escalating it to a chargeback, then you're at fault for violating the credit card terms and conditions. I use that a lot whenever, well, I'd say a lot. I've had 3 chargebacks. I've won every one of them. One was a $1,200 chargeback. And the first thing is, this person never reached out to me. They never gave me a chance to make it right. I offered a generous 30-day return policy, yet they never came to me and asked me about it. They never told me there was a problem. And I remind them, I say, in the terms and condition that your customer or this buyer has with the credit card company, they're required to work with the merchant, and they skip that step. So they're in violation of your credit card policy. So that, I think, is something that's not talked about, and that does work. Mahaley says, I still get 0 views on 90% of 600 items. So, you know what you could do, Mahaley? Send me an email, flippingainteasy2020@gmail.com. I could take a look at your store, and I'm willing to bet, though, that it may be some kind of item that a lot of those items may have some significance or pretty cool to you. Maybe something that you think is probably going to sell well, but there's just not a lot of demand. I see a lot of that. And, you know, I think you want to find the other 10% of the items that are selling. You want to find more items like that. Eddie is in the house. Dr. Brzezinski found a cure for several forms of cancer, but unfortunately has been suppressed and rejected. If I had cancer, I would search him out, but his long waiting list. I'm sure there's some homeopathic remedies that are out there as well, where, you know, you can take. I heard something that if you drink nothing but high pH water, So you're dealing with the higher side of the pH, not the acidic side, but the more alkaline side of the scale, that your body better reacts to that, and that does help too. But I just some seller on eBay, so I have no idea what I'm talking about. Ryan G says, question, is there a way to set the method of a return shipping back to you? Had eBay standard envelope, buyer remorse return, and they made him send it back first class. The only way is to go in and buy a label. So if there's a way you can buy a label for standard envelope, I don't think you can, because you have to go like pirate ship or off eBay to do it. Otherwise, I don't think there's a setting where you can actually do that. Unfortunately, it kind of stinks that that's the thing. But Mary says, I have 100+ vintage cookie jars in addition to the other stuff, so no problem listing these before Christmas. Yeah, get those things up. People will start buying those things now. And of course, it'll ramp up as we get closer to Christmas. John M says, Deborah JK, yes, I've had a huge increase in sales the last 2 to 3 weeks. Mine have been pretty steady. Turn and Burn says, eBay losing customers because of a lot of sellers are charging shipping. Sellers are losing out 25% or more in sales charging shipping. The retail online world is free shipping now, but shipping isn't free. People see the word free shipping, they think, wow, I don't have to pay for shipping. But the difference is, look, if someone's charging $100 free shipping for an item, and I charge $79.99, knowing that most of my buyers are only going to be spending $15, if they did a search by way of price, they're going to find my listing before they find that $100 item listing, and they're paying for shipping. I don't think that's why eBay's losing customers. I think eBay's losing customers because they don't do a very good job of promoting eBay outside of the categories they want to promote. There's a huge segment of the population that's either A, dying out, okay, that maybe used eBay all their life, that are no longer with us. And there's another segment of the population that are becoming adults that have never even seen an eBay commercial, let alone know what eBay really is. So eBay's got to do a better job of marketing to get more people on board. So it's just, to me, it's more about attrition than anything else.
Recently, I just saw an eBay commercial that wasn't auto or watches or shoes on YouTube.
Well, that's on YouTube too, I guess. So that's a form of advertising.
I mean, it's the first commercial I've ever seen that it didn't entail those three things.
eBay is on record. They're still on board with pushing the smaller seller out in favor of the larger seller. Okay, that is still their strategy. I don't agree with it, but that's what they've said. So, let's see. That stranger says, just went to print a label for an item I sold hours ago. Required immediate payment. It was not offered, but it was still awaiting payment. I've seen that too. That's a glitch. It's a glitch. John says, hi, Jen and John. Have you ever got a feedback that was meant for another seller? Some of them are funny when you do not even sell that item. Yeah, I've seen that before. See if I can get through here. I am catching up kind of, guys. I'm just kind of skipping a little bit. Guide Guru is, if it's under 4 ounces, I will offer free shipping. That's the only case, and it's debatable if that even helps convert to sales. And then even then, if it's under a pound, I'll consider free shipping if there have been no other sales with shipping. So if that item sold multiple times, but the only time it's sold is with free shipping, and it's under a pound, then I'll do it. I'll do it. Sammy says, free shipping, you still ship the item, but with added postage in the purchase price. I had a return for an item, didn't fit. I lost out on the postage. Yeah, for me, it's just one of those things. You just got to know the weighting of the item you're selling. Get it in the packaging. If you're going to box it, you're going to polybag it. Get it in the packaging. Weigh everything before you list it so that you're not over by like an ounce and paying higher shipping. If you're like teetering on 15 ounces to a pound, and then you go 1 pound, 1 ounce, you're going to find that it's going to be a lot more expensive if you go over. Simple Beautiful says, how do you make time to do pictures and description? How many pictures would you consider as good in general? I'd say at least 4. Consider the main picture you want it to be your best picture. So let's say you've taken multiple pictures of the item. You want to pick out the best picture out of those and let that be your main one. That's the number one thing. But you also want to make sure that everything that you're including in the sale is in that picture. Because sometimes buyer will see an item, but they're not sure it's complete. They might move on. But close-ups also, if you're zooming in to key features of the item, I think is good too. And the best way is to go to your favorite department store, or Best Buy, or go to Amazon and look at how a lot of these bigger companies, they present their item, and look at the photos that they're presenting. A lot of times you'll see there's zooms. They zoom into certain parts of the item and features of it. We sold a sissy chair. It's for a Harley Davidson, and it's one of those seats you put on the back for the second rider. And I did some zooms in on the clips on the bottom where the chair mechanism attaches to the bike, so that it's clear to them if this is going to fit that model bike. They can just match it up, right? If they're not sure, they can see it's clear instead of a photo from far away and you can't really tell. So look for key features and zoom in on those things. Sammy says, item was returned, but I did free shipping. I didn't get the shipping money I sent out as in total. If you do it separate, you do. Yeah, if you have a return and you charge shipping and don't do free shipping, and let's say it's a remorse return, you don't have to give that money back. It's toggled off. You get to keep that money. But if it's free shipping, there's no way to differentiate from how much you paid versus how much the item is valued at. It's all lumped together. You got to give them all the money back, so you lose out on that deal. Jason's in the house. I haven't received any sales for my like yet, but I've had 4 positive feedback since listening to the show. But you have another 22 hours.
22 hours.
Yes. Brian H says, how do you change it to where the buyer gets the same shipping discount as me? It's in your shipping preferences, and there should be one that should say, FedEx, UPS, offer discounted rates with buyers. And then what I like to do is I'll just add $1 in my shipping policy as shipping and handling. So that'll kind of offset like some supplies or tape, that type of thing. Let's see. Duncan VR. I'm trying to wind down sales before my move, but they decided to pick up. Get them out. Get them sold. That's the key, right?
That's the way it works.
We got Walk the Dead from Australia. Thanks for being here. Hopefully, if you haven't watched the live up to this point, you're just kind of tuning in, go check out the replay. It'll be up here very, very soon. Duncan found a pile of items that should be listed that have magically dropped off eBay with no warning. Happens all the time. One thing you should do, you think that, hey, I got a lot of items and maybe I'm not getting a whole lot of sales, and go back in and just check. Go through like one section of your items, like maybe 1 or 2 racks, and just go through, make sure that they're listed. You'll be surprised how many items aren't listed anymore. Yeah. It drives me crazy.
I was just going through our inventory to make room on different racks for him to put larger items. And when I was going through the shoes, there were shoes that were listed on Posh, not on eBay, not on Posh. So, and then some that weren't on either one. So I pulled those down and relisted them. But yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Duncan says, why did I hit the like? I just got 5 sales. Wow. What? That's awesome. So guys, we're at the end. Yeah, we're at the end. Maybe not so fast. Here's Sherman has something
Sherman's
to say.
Here.
Sherman Volkman says, one problem I have with my photo, I don't know if my camera is taking blurry pictures or if it's my eyeballs. I'm an old geezer.
Wipe off the lens.
But what you can do is
on the back of your camera,
on a listing that you've made, go into the listing and click on the photo. It should allow you to like enlarge the photo. It'll like zoom in. If that looks blurry, then you probably have an issue with your settings in your camera. I would try to find a camera with as high of megapixels, like at least 12 megapixels, so that when the buyer clicks on your listing and they click on your photo, when they zoom in, it doesn't blur up.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I would recommend for sure. And then Tommy says, this is the key to reselling. The money is made on the buy of your items. Depending on shipping to make your money, you really have to rethink your business. You can tell when people waste 10 minutes to save $2 on shipping. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's definitely the first part of that statement is the key to success in reselling. You make your money when you buy items. So that's the key. And hopefully, Tommy, you got a good deal on all those shoes, because I'm looking at it going, wow, what did he pay for those? Just curious what you're into those for. Maybe you'll share that with us one day, but that's the first thing that goes through my mind.
He's not going to share it.
But guys, we're here at the end. You're welcome, Simple Beautiful. Thank you for being with us today, everyone. We constantly learn things about eBay. It seems like the more I look, the more I wish I could look away and not have seen some of the things that I see. But the idea that eBay is suppressing messages between buyer and seller, the idea that because maybe either buyer or seller says something that eBay doesn't like, they're going to prevent a positive conversation from taking place. I think it's horrible, but you know what? We can't control that either. Again, it's just like another glitch. It's the way you got to look at it. We just have to be aware that these things are happening, and we have to be able to navigate our way through this minefield of just craziness that's called eBay. And it's just yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent start to your week. Get your stuff listed, and we will talk to you guys very soon.
Bye, guys.
Take care, everyone.